All right, we're going to do a test retest today. It's going to be this corrective exercise. It's just a very weird squat. We're going to take this leg out to the side and back a little bit, at a little 45-degree angle. We're going to put the weight in the front foot and very little weight on that back foot. I want you in the middle of your front foot. You're going to slowly drop your hips straight down. It's going to go from the middle, the weight from the middle of your foot back into your heel a little bit. You're going to drop down nice and deep, and then you're going to push through your heel and shift back onto the middle foot. We're just going to do 5 of these. Middle foot, back to your heel, drop through the heel, end up on your middle foot. As little weight on here as possible. Just make sure you don't fall over. Notice my knee is not very far back. It's kind of even with my other ankle. That's 3, middle foot, push back onto the heel, push through the heel, back to the middle foot. Last one, keep that foot nice and flat. Let those toes spread out a little bit. Let the arch collapse a little bit. Push the heel and forward. And we'll do 5 on the other side. And I'll show you from the front. Out to the side a little bit with this toe. Slowly coming down, weight on the middle foot. And as I get deep, I shift back a little into the heel. And now I'm going to push up through the heel, push forward just a little bit. I want you to watch my knee for a second, because as I'm coming down, middle foot, heel, and I allow that knee to shift a little, allow the shin to rotate a little, so there's room for my belly. Push through the heel and midfoot. Midfoot, down to the heel, heel, midfoot. And as I'm coming up, that's correcting. Not correcting, rotating. Down, because this rotation is correct at the ankle. Heel, midfoot, and I think this is the last one. And let that little rotation occur through the heel and back to the midfoot. All right, so see how that feels. We're going to come to the mat and we're going to move those hips around now. We're going to start very simply. I want you to have pillows. I want you to be comfortable. Very simply, we're going to start in lizard pose. I'm going to step forward with my right foot first so you can see it. My hands are inside of my foot, so I'm not on the outside being limited by my shoulder. Inside. Take that deep breath. Let it sink. If you can, you walk your hands forward a little bit. Drop your shoulder down a little bit. You can bend your elbows. Some people can put their elbows on the ground here. Right now, I am not able to do that. So I'm going to stay right here. Now I'm going to push my knee out to the side and let it pull on the hip a little. I feel this down through the back of this leg that's in front of me. And I want to try to keep this foot flat while I move that hip. Now I'm just going to push forward and out to the side slightly. And I'm going to feel a little bit in the front of the back hip also. And 3, 2, and 1. Now the hands come back a little bit, strong on the ground. Curl your toes under so you're pushing off your big toe a lot. You're going to bring that back knee up. You're going to feel that back hip activate right through there, right through the front of the hip. And now you're going to squeeze your quad so your knee straightens. You're going to push your heel back a little bit. You're going to feel all those muscles in the front of that left leg behind you get nice and strong. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Had a nice little tremble going there. Now my right hand, which is right next to my right foot, is going to rotate up in the air. And I'm going to sink my left hip down and out a little bit. But don't go so far you lose sensation. You still want to find your stretch. So how far do you have to rotate to find your stretch? That hand is going to go down underneath the other arm, sliding through. You tuck your chin and you rotate your right shoulder down towards the ground. And feel that back stretch a little bit. Bring it up one more time and drop that hip a little bit and rotate a little bit. If you rotate it too far, you just go back slightly. Find the line of tension that needs your attention. And back under one more time. Tucking the chin, sliding the hand through, exhaling down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. We're going to push back. I'm going to slide my back knee back a little bit, my front foot forward a little bit, and I'm going to put one hand on each side of this stretch. So while I'm here, let me show you from the front, I'm going to shift my weight from my right hand to my left hand very gently, changing the line of pull, looking for the tension that I have today. And I'm going to find a nice angle. I'm going to pause there. From here, I'm going to pull my toes in and I'm going to push them out. Pull them in, push them out. By pulling them in, I put a little bit more tension on the nerve path. So I don't want to overdo that. I don't want to make it painful. Remember, we have to feel comfortable to unlock. One more time, pulling in, get a little tension. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to walk our hands out in front of our belly. That leg is still stuck out to the side. It's parallel with my torso. I'm going to drop to my forearms, and I'm going to do a little hip rocker. Looking to feel the adductors of that right side open up now. When I'm set up here, I want you to see, you don't want to be all the way out here. You want to be inside of the leg that's kneeling. So your shoulders in line or inside. So you get a good groin opener. Beautiful. Then we're going to lie down on that left side. So our right leg's done 3 of these stretches already. Now we're going to get the front of the leg. So we're going to lie down. We're going to grab that leg, pull it behind us, and we're going to drop it to the ground. If it's in the cards for you, you're going to rotate your back towards the ground. Should create a little rotation in that hip. And just breathe it down. You might feel the front of your ankle opening up here, depending on how much tension you have in your ankle. Some people feel the sole of their foot cramp. So you can grab this foot and hold it in place so that you don't have to get that force in the ankle. And then the other leg, you're going to try to drop the ankle on top of the knee and open this hip from the top a little bit. If you do not need to be holding this leg with your hand, I want that arm overhead so that the lat is pulling on the hip the opposite way that the knee is stretching. And this may move it just above the hip bones into those obliques, into that QL a little bit. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We're going to come to a seated position. So now we've unlocked that leg a bit. We're going to go into 90-90. Front shin is parallel to back. Back shin is parallel to front thigh. And we're going to rotate that leg up in the air. We're doing a little internal rotation of this quad. And I'm posting my hand here so I have some range of motion. For some people, you can sit up and you can rotate, but I have no range of motion right now. So I'm going to do it from here until I work that tension out. You think I'm doing this class for you guys? No, this is for me. Rotating, rotating. Good. Now we're going to get up a little bit taller. I'm going to pin that front leg down and I'm going to push into it with the bottom leg, but I'm not going to allow it to move. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to release, and now I'm going to pull that leg into the ground for 5. And as I'm pulling that one down, this back one is lifting slowly. 3, 2, 1. Slowly down. Pin the front leg. Have that little battle with it. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Pull the front leg into the ground with your glutes. Peel the back leg off the ground with your glutes. 3, 2, 1. Release. Last one. Pushing, pushing. And release. Dragging into the ground and rotating. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release. Good. I want you to try to rotate your torso, drop that back glute onto the ground, and just unglue all that stuff in your hip. It might feel uncomfortable, and because of the stretched position, you might feel it on the inside of your knee, so be careful you don't overdo it. Last one, sitting down, rotating. If you feel comfortable here, you can come to a seated position. Notice I did adjust my legs a little bit to allow that, and you can dip your front shoulder down towards your left shoulder, down towards your left leg. And again, we're stretching the right side of your body, dipping. It may be helpful. Notice how high my knee is off the ground to gain more support so I can go deeper and back up. So I'm going to rotate. I'm going to dip that shoulder. I'm going to squeeze back up, opening the right side of my body and squeezing it. Last time. And down. And up. Beautiful. We're going to go to the left side. We're going to go into lizard pose. I'm going to support my back knee. I've had my right leg forward, my right leg working the whole time, so now my left leg will be forward. And I'm going to drop my hands down inside. If you can, you move your hands forward a little bit. You move your back hip forward a little bit. And you're going to bend your elbows a little bit, if that's right for you. Those bendy people who can put their forearms on the ground, go right ahead. And now we're going to slowly rock out to the side. We're going to let the hip push out. And just feel that stuff behind that left leg, really close to your hips. Just get moved around a bit, unglued a bit. Now we're going to try to push out and forward a little bit so we feel the back leg get a little stretch. Notice I'm just pinning my left foot to the ground. I want that inside blade to stay on the ground. I want my ankle to get some motion, some mobility here. Last two. Last one. Good. Hold that position. Dig your toes in the back. Heavy on your hands. Lift that back knee up. You drop your body down a little bit if you can bend your elbows, and you're going to push your heel backwards. You're going to squeeze your quad. You're going to drop your hip, lift your chest a little. Now straighten your arms out. Put some weight on that back toe. Squeeze that quad. Get some strength in that back hip. 3, 2, 1. Knee comes down. We're going to shift the back knee back a little bit. We're going to shift the front foot forward a little bit. One hand on the inside, one hand on the outside. Notice I don't have my toes totally pulled in and I don't have them totally pointed. I'm in the middle and I'm just going to rock back and forth. I have a very low grade nerve stretch at the back of the knee. And everything is nice and calm, maybe a level 5, level 6. And as I go out to the side, I often find more stretch, more tension. So I'm going to spend a little bit more time out here and I'm going to hold that position that needs attention. I'm going to point my toes and I'm going to flex my toes. Point them to take the pressure off the nerve. Flex them a little to just slide the nerve a little bit and point. And put a little tension. Point. Put a little tension. And now just hold them in a comfortable place. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hands walk out in front of your body. Body rotates. Foot is parallel to your torso. Elbows are down inside of your knee. And you're going to rock back and forth gently. And what we're doing is we're just talking to the nervous system, making sure it feels safe, And if it feels safe, each rock we go back a teeny tiny bit further. We're slowly progressing deeper into the stretch. You feel this on the inside of this extended left leg. If you feel stuff going on in the knee, that means your adductor's a little too tight, so it's tugging on all the tissue around the knee, so you want to go less aggressive, stay further forward. You can also flatten your foot so it's not quite as rotated, even though that's going to be more the outside of your leg getting opened. It seems to take a little pressure off anyway. And sit back and hold. Nice deep breath. 10, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently coming up. We're going to lie down on that right side. And we're going to make a pillow with our right arm. We're going to pull that left leg behind us. We're going to dig it into the ground a little bit. Let the quad open. And then we're going to roll our shoulders back slightly. Ooh, this side definitely tighter than the other side. My big toe is a little bit uncomfortable, so I'm going to support it a little bit with my hand, but I'm still going to have that stretch on the front of my ankle. So my toes are still pointed and uncomfortable in that stretch. But I'm going to take my foot, I'm going to drop it on the knee, and I'll let that pull down a little bit. Feel that tissue on the outside of my leg, which is way tighter on this side for some reason. And let that ease. Let everything that's protecting relax. And then you can feel that creep above the hip to that QL area, the oblique area. For those of you who don't have to hold your foot, bring your left hand over your head so it's pulling on the lat, and the lat is pulling on the hip. So the lat pulls up on the hip while the ankle of your right foot is pulling down on the hip on the other side. And exhale. Notice I didn't do that because that would be too much for me today. There we go. Now my leg's close to the ground. I can feel the ground a little bit. And 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently releasing. I'm going to come out of this side a little bit slower because she's excited. And I'm going to go into 99. I'm going to post myself on my right hand, and I roll that left shin and ankle off the ground and just do a little bit of that internal rotation with this little muscle right here. I'm going to control it. 3, 2 more, 1 more. Good. I'm going to push myself more upright. And if this is super hard for you, just slide a pillow under your butt. But I'm going to take the opposite hand. I'm going to pin that knee down. And for those of you who are really comfortable here, you can do same side hand. Opposite hand, and the leg pushes into my hand. The hand pushes into my leg. 4, 3, 2, 1. I release. I pull down with the glute muscles in the front. I pull up with the glute muscles in the back. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Down. Pin. Press. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, pull down, pull up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Pin it one more time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pulling down, pulling up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Resting for a second. Good. We're going to rotate your left hand behind your hip, and you're going to sit that hip back a little bit and roll it forward. Now on the side, you feel more tension. Like I said, I feel more tension on this side. It's impossible for me to drop my glute all the way to the ground. So I'll put my hand underneath it. So I'm just aware that it is dropping a little bit. because the ground isn't giving me any feedback. So I'll put my hand under, I'll rotate my body, I'll put a little pressure onto my hands. And your hand could be flat if you have some motion, it could be upright if you have very little motion, but make sure you feel that sensation of dropping a little weight into that left cheek. Beautiful. Again, my knee is pretty high in the front, so I'm gonna support it. I'm gonna rotate my hands towards the back. I'm gonna dip down with my right shoulder. I'm gonna rise up, release for a second, rotate, and dip. This will be your nemesis at the beginning if you're tight, but if you start to feel looser and better, start to enjoy this one. Actually, it's fun. Right now, for me, it's not quite fun yet, but I'm just happy I can hold the position. The tension is temporary. The more we leave it unaddressed, the harder it is to get back to the positions we are comfortable in. And flexibility and mobility is temporary also if we don't do anything for a while. We start to lose some of our range. Last one, dip down, hold it for a second, come on back up. Perfect. We're gonna check in on the legs. So set your feet a little wider than hip width and dip, dip, dip. Good. And now after this, we're gonna retest that lunge position, that one-legged squat position. And let's come on up. Let's get a little more view. And I'll go right leg forward. This foot in the back, remember, doesn't go straight back, it goes outside a little bit. And it's just there to support us from falling over. Eventually you'll do this with no foot on the ground, but not today. Midfoot, dropping down, dropping back into that heel, and see how you feel right there. Push through the heel, back to the midfoot, midfoot, heel, heel, midfoot. Let's do one more retest. Midfoot, heel, heel, midfoot. Hopefully it feels a little less congested in the hip and midfoot on the front. Foot out to the side slightly, just a little bit of weight there. Dropping into the midfoot, letting the foot flatten, dropping into the heel a little bit, press through the heel, back to the midfoot. Midfoot, heel, heel, midfoot. Last one, and just see how you feel down here, which was really, and back up. Now, if that was easy for you at the beginning, you probably won't feel much of a difference, but hopefully you feel a little bit looser and you can continue to do those exercises. It's a great corrective exercise.